Attention. The movie guys love movies. Any jokes about the perfect casting choice of a Hollywood actor to appear in a movie called Sex Tape are purely for entertainment purposes only. Isn't that right, Rob Lowe?
Oh, shit! Oh, no, you didn't!
Remember when a sex tape would damage your career? Oh. Now it starts them.
I'm that old. I remember when a sex tape would damage your career.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't have one, really, it's like the first thing you have to do is go out and get one, right? Go out and do one.
They always make those lists of things like, do you remember this? If you remember this, you're old or whatever.
Yeah, right.
I'm still auditioning for mine.
That's one of them.
SpongeBob SquarePants is on that list.
Yeah, but that almost ruined his career.
SpongeBob?
Almost ruined Rob. SpongeBob almost ruined Rob Lowe's career.
No, but I think the thing about that Rob Lowe sex tape is that she was like 16, right?
She was. In Georgia, where it was legal.
Oh.
Creepy.
But they showed that in Transformers, there's laws to get around that.
You know,
the Romeo and Juliet law.
That seems to suggest he knew what he was doing.
Oh, he does.
He's like, let's go to Georgia.
Let's go to Georgia.
This is all nice and square.
Yeah. Or he was shooting something down there. And, who knows? Hey, welcome to the movie Showcast, everybody. Rape. Right, everybody?
It's all right. Her dad was her last boyfriend, so Rob Lowe's was the step up.
You are now into part of the vast and sprawling movie guys empire. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. You've reached ground zero for all things movies and comedy. We bring the two together right here on our show every week with jokes, rants, sketches, characters, bits, special guests, and more as we broadcast from the Admirals Club in beautiful downtown Burbank. They don't stop making movies, so we don't stop making comedy shows about movies, which means you can get a new show every week. Basically, search the Movie Guys anywhere you like on the web, and we come right up. iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, and of course, themovieguys.net. Absolutely free, and we encourage you to subscribe where you can, and if you do, still no charge. You can find our showcasts like the one you're listening to on a couple of internet radio stations as well, including WBAD.net Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern and JonasMountRadio.com Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. And from what I understand, they also are not charging. So basically, we're out there. I am your host for the hardest working podcast on the airwaves, Paul Preston, here with Lee Caius and Adam Witt. Joining us all show long is a good friend of the show who we love talking movies with, and now has directed a documentary about comedian Richard Lewis's Hollywood Hills home, which apparently is like this museum of all things comedy and awesome.
And we'll talk. I have a question about that, Paul. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we're going to make a segment of the show where questions will happen. Thank you. Just so happens you've arrived on the right day. Charley Rivkin is with us. Charley's here, everybody. It's
the easiest guest for me to get. It's my roommate.
There you go. But Charley knows the real reason we've all gathered. It's to help. Don't go into the movie theater unprepared. That's why we put out a new show every week to preview what new films are opening. We have a big 3-movie weekend to get to, including Sex Tape with Cameron Diaz.
We're reviewing a sex tape with Cameron Diaz?
No, it's not.
Sweet!
No, it's Sex Tape with Jason Segel.
Oh, well, no thanks.
All right. And The Purge is back, now with less Ethan Hawke, in The Purge Anarchy. And the sequel to the animated hit Planes, which stars Dane Cook. Well, not so much stars as has in it. It's Planes, Fire, and Rescue.
Oh.
The one that Lakota call Heoka beats his drum with the wind to make thunder.
This is a Dane Cook movie?
Comes lightning. And with lightning comes fire.
I don't hear any drums.
Shh.
All aircraft, we've got a report of a wildfire.
Come on, boys, let's load up!
Lightning storm came through.
And off they go to fight fires.
I find it odd that AC/DC's Dirty Deeds is the song behind that.
That's what you found out about that trailer?
that's the clip?
That was it?
Yeah, and sure enough, Wes Studi, you know.
Oh, yes.
When in doubt.
Wes Studi.
You get Wes Studi to voice the
Native
Indian
American.
helicopter?
Indian helicopter. Native helicopter.
Native American helicopter, yes, I'm sorry.
A helicopter was born there.
Was that a huge hit, Planes? I mean, it just seemed it's like
Cars was a huge hit.
Cars was a huge hit.
I think they're just
even the bad sequel was a huge hit.
But Planes is just like the Disney straight-to-video studio putting movies in theaters, which they rarely do. Usually they do like Cinderella 3 and stuff, and it just goes straight to video. And it's just to generate a little money, and nobody really goes, "Oh, that's silly's the name of Cinderella." It's just kind of there for like 6-year-olds or whatever. That's that, but in theaters because it's popular enough. Because Cars is huge.
I remember when Toy Story 2 was supposed to go right to video.
Yeah,
I said, we'll put it in the $200 million.
You ever seen the documentary on that?
No.
The Pixar story? Oh, you got to see the
No, I've never
story.
seen. How have I not seen the Pixar story?
I don't
One
know.
of my favorite filmmakers.
Sounds good.
It shows up on Netflix every once in a while, and the story behind Toy Story 2 is just one of those sort of like Steve Jobsy, sort of like the birth of ideas, like this "you can do it" sort of thing, where they had done almost the entire movie without the supervision of like John Lasseter and those people, because Disney was just going to shit it out. It was like Toonimation. There's like a Disney part called like Toonimation or something, and it doesn't do the real ones; it does the shitty ones, like a Hunchback of Notre Dame 2.
Aladdin 4.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so they had almost had it done, and they finally brought like John Lasseter in, and I thought Steve Jobs was involved too, but maybe I'm just thinking because he contributed to Pixar. But anyway, John Lasseter, whoever's running it, decided to scrap the entire thing with just so little time to the release date and start it over. And it was just one of those things of like a Herculean effort of like only geniuses who were on fire. 6-cylinder John Lasseter really nailed it.
Yeah, I love that he oversees everything now, because I was worried about that merger.
He's a perfect Walt Disney
with Disney, but if he's the head of animation, and at the time Jobs was the biggest shareholder in the company, so it was like bring those guys in, and then of course Steve Jobs passed away, which kind of sucks because
we love Apple.
Yeah, we do. They're a pain in the ass now, though, without them. Hey, Rotoflix, everybody. Let's talk about Rotoflix real quick. That is our fantasy football for movies website, rotoflix.com.
Speaking of pains in the ass, Joe Canale turned us on to that.
He did. And I'm currently in the lead because I had Transformers Age of Extinction. You can draft movies and play a... it's kind of
good job playing Transformers in the week it opened. That's a good strategy.
I had the third pick in the draft. Godzilla and Maleficent went before me, and I picked up Transformers.
But I have Mark Wahlberg, so I should be getting.
But you get a percentage of what the movie gets.
So do you get more?
Whatever his actual percentage take it will be. That's what you
get his.
Oh, they do pretty well.
I only got 2 points of Wahlberg.
You get half a point for the movie if you have the actor.
But you get a full point for the
gross
for the movie.
What if Wahlberg has 2 points on the movie? Himself as an actor.
There you go.
Okay. Wait, he's got 3 credits. He's executive producer, producer, and actor, right? So
basically, you pick the movies, and based on their box office outcome, you get points. And we'll do it again at the holidays when you play the same thing, but for award nominations. And
cool.
Wins. So.
I'm in for that one.
I'm going to get in on that one.
Karen's crawling up my ass, but I got Dawn of the Planet of the Apes too.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now we're getting into that part of the if we don't have Guardians of the Galaxy, you don't know what movies that are going to take off. If you've already drafted one from August, or if they're out there, it's like, do I pick up, step up? I mean, will it get me the points I need?
Yeah, I don't.
Will it do anything? Who knows? I mean, who knows this weekend? What will be number one?
Lucy, I just noticed, is getting... When that trailer first came out, I thought it was like little indie.
It wouldn't have been worth getting at the beginning of the summer, but now you're like, oh, that's a good movie to have, Lucy.
Yeah.
Because it's really getting ramped up.
But who knows what's going to be number one? Will that be number one that week? Will Planes be number one? Or will The Purge? The Purge was number one last year.
Yeah, The Purge.
Karen has it.
It's on The Purge to win this weekend.
That's why she's crawling up his ass.
Yeah.
Which is a good transition.
That was a big surprise. $3 million movie. Nobody thought anything of it. And $35 million opening weekend was the
last year's
word.
right.
Yeah.
But will it do the same? I don't know.
I don't know. Clark.
Damn you, fantasy movies! All right, well, let's get on to our movies. Speaking of which, Sex Tape stars Cameron Diaz, who many women would have as their best friend if they had their way. So, according to this film, that means women want to come and watch their best friend having sex. So why do men and women fight? I think we can all come together on the idea of women we love and their best friend having sex. I hope that's what this is about. Adam, let's talk about it. Here we go.
Sex Tape tells the story of a boring suburban couple, Jay and Annie, played by Jason Segel, and Cameron Diaz. Is it Segel or Segal?
I think it's Segel.
Segel.
Steven Segel and Jason Segel. Okay, I got it. And Cameron Diaz, who find all the fires gone out of their relationship. In a purely Hollywood twist, they decide to try sex. But not just any sex, dirty sex on tape.
In case you were wondering what the definition of willing suspension of disbelief is, well, it's the thing you have to do to convince yourself that a guy who looks like Jason Segel is tired of fucking a woman who looks like Cameron Diaz.
But the plot goes from flaccid to fully erect when their sex tape uploads itself, if you know what I mean, to the cloud and gets sent all over to their friends and family. The plot line of machines coming to life and developing a love of pornography is not covered in the trailer, but may be the reason I'm going. Here's a clip.
So instead of erasing the video, like you said that you would,
Our sex tape
ended up syncing to all the iPads we gave out as gifts. We are gonna get back every one of those iPads right now.
Sorry, Microsoft Surface Pro 3. Better luck next time with your product placement.
So Jay and Annie have to travel the country, destroying every iPad they gave to their friends and family as Christmas presents. That's so unrealistic. Seriously, who can afford to give away that many iPads?
Yes.
While Jason Segel can't keep his dick off my TV, Cameron Diaz has never responded to my many letters requesting her nudity on screen. Well, in Sex Tape, she finally does her first nude scene.
Oh.
Ooh.
Not aware of that.
Just in time for us to no longer be interested in that. In related news, I've heard that Nickelback has decided to record their first good album.
And if the press is to be believed, Cameron Diaz is not only 41 but looks great, is thin, and is also a mom. So take that, fat moms. Press release is here to let you know you've really let yourself go. Oh, and you're right about Jason. Any reason to show my junk Segel. First in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, then in the director's cut of The Muppets, and now Sex Tape.
You know, I had a Hustler porn mag when I was a kid that would review movies in boners. 1 to 5 boners straight up. It's true. Now, I think the trailer for Sex Tape is the perfect place to implement such a scale. I give the trailer to Sex Tape 2 Hustler boners. Straight up. And I give Planes Fire and Rescue 3 Hustler boners. How many boners around the table? How many boners? Paul, how many boners?
Sex Tape? 2.5 boners.
2.5 boners?
She looked pretty good in those roller skates.
We're just talking about the trailer?
Yeah, we're just reviewing the trailer. I haven't seen the movie.
I'll say 2.5 boners.
2.5 boners?
4 boner trailer if I've ever seen it.
I give Lucy a 4 boner trailer. Now, if you Google just the words sex tape, the first 4 autofill suggestions Google offers up are about Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. Ooh. And none are in reference to the movie Sex Tape. Can't be a good sign when the internet doesn't even think of your movie when you mention it.
The storyline is almost as antiquated as the title, Sex Tape. Do kids today even know what a tape is? But I mean, I guess Sex MPEG, Sex AVI, Sex WMV doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
No, it's the unsolvable problem. How to get something off the internet. Trust me. If there was a way to do that, I would have figured it out by now. There you go. That's Sex Tape.
Now you're a little more well misinformed.
I just want to make sure we are reporting this accurately because we are first and foremost journalists, then entertainers. Is she actually
then pervs?
Yeah, how new?
I have heard she's actually shows everything.
Really?
What?
Is this a rated R movie?
This is what they're saying.
Well, now I'm going to see it.
There's a big red band trailer for it.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see nudity in movies at all. That's gone. Even horror movies and
Wolf of Wall Street had some great full frontal.
That made up for any loss you're feeling, Adam.
Yeah.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
That's an insane movie. More insane than the average movie, I'll say. Yeah.
But the older I get, the less comfortable I am sitting in a large room with dozens of strangers watching.
You got to
sex
stop
on screen.
seeing movies with your grandparents.
I know. That did hurt. What did that just kill for you?
That just killed her for me.
Her.
The whole family. And they
basically have phone sex.
They have phone sex, and you could just feel 70-year-old people behind me going,
that was in the trailer.
Was it?
Yeah, that was in the trailer.
Well, the internet has done that too.
He would have felt the same way watching the trailer with him.
I know.
But that's the reason rated R movies don't go there anymore, I think, is because it's pointless because of the internet. So that you're not going to be able to show anything, right?
Yeah.
But man, you remember in the 70s, they just went nuts with the sex and the...
Well, there was always like an obligatory sex scene in every rated R movie.
Everyone.
Yeah. And then, and then on with the movie.
Yeah. And then on with the movie.
Yeah. Fast Times at Ridgemont
But that's back
High.
when they didn't make kids movies that much either. Now everything's a kids movie now, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I do appreciate
Expendables 3, PG-13.
Speaking of,
is it really?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
They're not taking off heads
though.
with bullets anymore.
Yeah.
I actually am okay with that. Too.
I'm okay with that. Those movies,
they got to get more creative. Challenges them to be more creative, and I hope they.
Yeah, that movie's evolved. It's now Lethal Weapon 4. That type of movie. It's like
they're having fun. They're having babies. It's just a good time.
Exactly. It started as Lethal Weapon. Expendables was a hardcore classic Stallone and all that stuff, and now it's like everybody knows about it. All the kids are going to see them anyway. The parents are pissed. So yeah, just make it PG-13. Get out of there. Plus, you got Harrison Ford in it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you get Harrison Ford in the movie.
Yeah.
I think it goes down to PG-13.
I do appreciate Steven Seagal in this movie. No, Jason Segel.
George Segel?
Doing a few push-ups before his big shirtless scene.
Yeah, he lost weight.
He
looks very
Well,
skinny.
I don't know that he did push-ups.
He used to be pudgy.
He lost weight. I don't know that he
Well, at
gained
least
muscle.
It seems to me, though, at least he knew he was going to be half naked for a good portion of the movie and said, I should probably prep for this, at least in the area of
I kind of
That
feel
is
like
good.
he just hit an age where suddenly, like, the youthful
just thinned
pudginess, just thinned out.
I'm just always
We haven't-
amazed at when guys don't realize they're about to be shirtless in a movie, and I'm like, just, you know what?
I think they realize
Yeah,
it.
Chris Pratt knew what to do.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
He got ripped. Damn Chris Pratt.
Mm-hmm.
He's
He's
supposed to be a
from
goofy comedy guy from Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Now he's all a stud. I'm like,
Well, in his defense, in his interview, when they asked him how he lost all the weight, he said it was tears. So he lost it through
He turned
a lot
it down
of sadness.
too. I read.
Oh,
I read
really?
He turned it down. They came back to him and begged him.
what?
Yeah.
Guardians?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's
We
cool.
need funny and
now it's
Yeah.
one of those casting things that looks obvious in retrospect. Of course, what a great call! Everybody make that call.
Yeah, now he's in Lost. He's in Jurassic World.
Jurassic
Yeah,
World.
yeah.
He's Mr. The Blockbuster guy
Did they
now.
shoot that first, though? I think they shot Jurassic World first. I think that was before.
No, they're not. They haven't
No?
shot Jurassic
Oh,
World
they haven't even
yet.
shot it
I
yet.
think it
No,
is still
no,
shooting.
no.
Yeah, they've reports from
Oh.
the set have happened. But
Oh, wow.
yeah,
I
but
thought
don't
that
think
started
they're
production
Who's
so long
directing
ago.
that?
Guy
The
who
director
made
of
indie film with
Safety Not
no
Guaranteed.
Another
with,
one of those.
with
Another
10
Gareth?
seconds of special effects. It's quite impressive that they're like, oh, this guy made a movie with 10 seconds of special effects. He can do an entire green screen movie.
Yeah, they have a
with
lot more
fake-
trust for that now. I think they know that the how they're controlling the production. Like all these Marvel movies are directed by completely different people, but they are clearly molded by an overmind. You know, Kevin Feige.
Jurassic
Same
World is
thing.
not the kind of movie where people are gonna no word of mouth is gonna destroy the audience on that one.
It's not the 70s. You're not going to go off and make your own Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg won't find out about it until he's in the screening room. You know,
they are doing some crazy choices. Like the guy who directed the recent Evil Dead, the movie that he made that caught him on the map, was just like this alien invasion. It was all special effects, but like no characters or scenes or anything. It was just kind of, here's aliens attacking, and it looked really cool.
When execs hire people, I'm not sure what they were looking at that qualified somebody to get the next job, because it's not what I would think to look at.
Yeah.
You know, telling a story is usually
But I like the foresight that getting a Jon Favreau to direct an Iron Man. That as much as anything else set Marvel on a path. It's not just how Iron Man did, but that choice right there, like that is a great choice in some ways for if you're trying to get what ultimately we weren't expecting, that sort of Robert Downiness out of it. You know, that swingersness out of it. You know,
Sidney Lumet wouldn't have brought that out.
No, exactly.
Right. Oh, so then Jake Kasdan, perfect choice for a sex tape. This is the kind of shit he does, right?
What did he do before? Oh, Bad Teacher.
Yeah.
Did he also do that one Zero Effect?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is that Jake Kasdan?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's great. I love that movie. You ever seen Zero Effect?
I have not seen that.
No, I haven't either.
I want to. Bruce Willis, right, is in a little bit part.
No. Oh, does he have a bit part in that?
Doesn't he?
No.
No. Am I drunk?
That's what is that stupid movie called with the
A Bruce Willis cameo movie? I don't know.
Yeah, he kills a guy at the very beginning of it. What the hell's the name of that?
I'm trying. I have no idea what he's talking about.
It's called
when
like,
did it come out?
I know Zero Effect.
It's
I know what you're
called
talking
Flever,
about.
Flever. It's something like that. With Slever or Slevin.
Lucky Number Slevin?
Lucky Number Slevin.
That's not a cameo.
That's it.
That's not a cameo.
That's what I'm thinking
He's in
of.
half the movie.
I knew there was a V or a Z in one of them crazy
It's a
letters.
7 in place of a V.
There you go.
Quick question: are we on topic or off?
Which topic?
So sex tape. There you go.
Sex tape.
Is Cameron Diaz Latino?
I don't think
Cameron
so.
Diaz.
My guess is that's a fake name.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Weird name to pick an ethnic name if you're faking it.
Well,
It'd be like if I just said I'm Paul Akbad Muhammad.
Yeah, you're right. If you
People
decide-
would go, no, you're not.
Emilio Estevez picked that. Oh, wait, that was
No,
the
no.
wrong way. Sorry.
Yeah. See, there you go.
Emilio.
All right. Well, let's get on to our next.
She's Cuban.
What's that?
Cameron Diaz
She's
is?
Cuban.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
Cuban.
How much of her is Cuban?
Yeah.
A toe?
Her mother is English, Scotch, Irish, and her father, Emilio Diaz, is Cuban.
From Cuba?
From Malibu,
no,
Cuba.
from Malibu, California.
Well, the Cuban Pete segment and the mask must have really spoken to her.
That's how she got the role. She could relate. She did look more Cuban in that movie than any other time.
That's a stunning
A little bit.
Cameron
Oh
Diaz.
yes,
That is
a curvy, young.
Yeah.
Youthful.
Well,
And if she really is 41, like IMDb says, then she's 20 in that movie.
Yo, yeah.
Wow.
She was brand new. That's Kate Upton material.
she walks
right
in
there,
and
like
is a
new.
star the second she hits her first mark in that movie.
Yeah.
The way they have her shot, like a classic, female
Yeah,
Hollywood
femme
female.
fatale
Yeah.
almost.
Good gravy.
And she's one of those ones who I think like they all said, "Oh, she's going to be great," and luckily she was.
Yeah,
I hate when she's going to be great, and then just like she continues to not be great.
Yeah, she followed a couple really good movie decisions.
All right. Here we go. Here's a question. How disappointing will her nude scene be? Okay, because we've all got it in our head right now. She's spread eagle on the poster, right?
Yeah.
That it's so we all got it in our head that the movie features her spread eagled. Amazing.
They Photoshop her crotch,
but you know what it's going to be.
That out?
It's going to be from the side. You're going to see the hips going to cover anything below the pelvis too much.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any pubic hair because it's 2014. Yeah, you're not going to see. You're going to see probably side boob. I bet it's super disappointing.
If anything, it'll be half the length of the Wolf of Wall Street where she does the full frontal quick shot. I mean, that's a second long.
It'll be funny too. It'll be like still be having like crazy sex.
Yeah,
and then you'll be like, oh wait. Slow it down.
This is not what I wanted. Yeah,
I'll blame Jason Segel. Whatever happens.
I feel like I've been wrong on a few predictions like that. I mean, some movies have taken really funny angles on their shit.
Well,
so
when Jennifer Aniston did We're the Millers, she made a big to do about how everything was see through, and then they went back and covered everything in post.
Did you know
digitally?
that?
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah, her big.
She is much nakeder.
She's
in that.
much.
And on the DVD,
You see everything through. And then they basically went back in post and
that's not a plane. That's my penis rising. Hearing this story,
she made a big deal about wanting to show everything, and that was her next move. And the execs were like, "Nope, we want more people to see it." So they digitally went in every frame and colored it over with cartoon.
Interesting.
Weren't we just saying something about the PG-13ification?
Yeah, there it is.
All right. Well, they say fuck a lot in that movie, right?
They better.
Yeah.
All right. Our next film. Get ready to test your tolerance for school shooting imagery in the sequel to 2013 surprise hit The Purge.
Oh, Jesus. That is graphic.
The mega hit pessimistic suspense thriller that could only come during the Obama years. Lee, let's talk about it. Here we go. Yes, The Purge is back, now starring nobody. The Purge Anarchy gives us a good reason to play another exciting round of...
Guess what it's about!
Oh, so let's do that again. Let's go around the room and see what you think. Each one of you can take a guess at what The Purge Anarchy is about, and we'll see who's right. Adam.
The Purge. Is it about the behind-the-scenes story of America's Next Top Model?
No.
The Purge. America's Next Top Model.
No. That was already guessed, actually. No.
Are you serious?
Paul, the Purge. I'm pretty sure that's about the behind the scenes of the America's Next Top Model.
No, that's not it. Let me sum it up. For 12 hours, all laws are suspended and the populace runs wild.
It's Brazil after losing the World Cup.
No, this is the America of the future, and it's all part of the government's plan to keep a stable society. In order for 364 days out of the year to be livable, once a year the country engages in all of its ill will, murder, and revenge fantasies. And this film is about people out in the streets during this time of year because apparently they don't own calendars.
And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, I think we can all buy into the plot of The Purge Anarchy, which is everyone's after you and they all have guns.
Yes, The Purge Anarchy.
Jesus.
Follows in the footsteps of White Christmas, telling the story of an American holiday. But unlike Christmas, this is a holiday where there are no rules. Chaos reigns and violence can break out at any minute. So more Black Friday than Christmas.
Unlike the first The Purge.
Oh, that's perfect.
This time there's anarchy in the movie, based on the premise that there's no laws and the streets are filled with death. Left that out of your first movie, did you? That's like calling Sharknado 2, quote, the second one, which they did.
Once again, everyone locks their houses up because the street is full of anarchists who believe in nothing.
Willie doesn't care about anything. He's a nihilist.
Oh, that must be exhausting.
Now, IMDb describes The Purge. In part, as 5 people trying to survive a night in Los Angeles. Yeah, that seems about right.
The Purge is a shovel-ready make-work program that relies on annual vandalism to require the city to be rebuilt every year. Don't hate The Purge, they're job creators. But you want a sequel worth watching? Let's follow all the streets and sanitation guys who have to go to work the next day.
This movie, along with Grand Theft Auto, is proof that what people really want to do is mindlessly kill one another.
The Purge, Anarchy. Sadly, people in Darfur think it's a documentary.
And we are, of course, looking forward to the inevitable prequel, The Binge.
There you go. That's The Purge, Anarchy.
Now, I just want to say something about...
Still sounds like America's Next Top Model.
So I was doing the research on that vomit sound effects last night.
Oh, yes? That was your choice?
That was my choice.
I love the little post-throw-up one. But it's the rule of threes. You did 2 like that. I mean, it's perfect.
And so, yeah, I came up with the idea of just sprinkling this preview with a bunch of vomit sound effects. Listen to, like, 10 minutes of people throwing up. You're going to get sick. I'm lying in bed going to all these lengths of vomit sound. I'm like, oh, my God, this is just horrible. I almost puked.
That is a version of Dante's Hell.
Just listening.
Testing out vomit soundtracks. No, that's no good.
That's it.
No, that's no good.
And you do. I mean, like the first 3 I listened to, I'm like, that's not going to work. That's not what I'm looking for. Too wet, too dry. That guy's breathing too much. You know, oh, that one came out of his nose. That's not what I want.
Oh my
I
God.
hope you didn't watch any of this.
That's such a great insight.
Thank God it was
just sounds.
Yeah, it was just a black screen. But I'm lying in bed and I have my headphones on, so I'm listening it in this clear, crystal clear stereo.
Now, I had the opposite experience because we did the movie called The Quiet Ones.
Yeah. Right, I remember that. We are children.
I was looking for this really like airy fart, like a. And I was just going through farts and farts and farts. And
so you were laughing your ass off.
I was laughing my ass off, and I felt so bad about it. I'm like, oh, God, you 4-year-old. I'm sampling farts trying to find the right quiet fart.
I'm greening the gills, and Adam's laughing his dick off.
And they're all hilarious.
But remember that one was, there was a video, and it was just like,
yeah, you ran
legs,
video.
and then like a cloth covering anything that you, and then
hair.
But nothing happened, nothing moved, nothing waved or anything. It just, but we had to look at it.
Yep, that's what the microphone was.
Oh my God,
The Purge.
The Purge. Boy, we sound like we're excited about it. It stars Frank Grillo from Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Is he the
good for him?
Tough guy?
Good for him getting work. He's like the guy who tries to beat up Captain America after being on his team the whole movie.
The whole
who
movie.
did the Mexican standoff with him and everything?
Yeah, but you'd think that guy of all guys would know he's not going to win against Captain America.
He's like a Punisher in this movie, though. He's like someone killed his daughter last Purge, and he's out to fucking take everybody down.
Yeah.
And then he saves other people.
Get him in trouble.
And he says, "Stay in the car. Stay in the car."
Now, does this have anything to do other than it's The Purge with the first one?
No.
Well, it's the same.
No, it's the
time
same
of
night.
year. But you're not following the family.
There's no carryover from.
No, I think that instead of following an upper class family who's trying to stay in their house, they follow a couple lower class people who can't. You don't have anywhere to hide.
They have car trouble and shit.
Yeah.
The guy who's seeking revenge, I thought perhaps came out of the first movie, but no.
No, that was just Ethan Hawke's family, and then he died at the end.
Yeah, so it's going to be a story that just tells different stories of the Purge.
You had a year. And it's not good. And it's not good.
Wasn't going to see it.
It's also horrible.
Is that our new rule? Our spoiler alert is 1 year.
They fail at the premise of that movie entirely. And so they'll do, and it looks like they're going to do it again.
Well, they had to get their budget down by having it in one house.
Well, if you watch the preview, they do once again little ceremony. Like,
well, they get into high society where people they found on the street are now getting sold to very, very rich people, so that they get to kill.
Which is bullshit.
It's like the end of Taken, except instead of a sex slave, you just get to kill the person at the end.
Right. All bullshit. Because the Purge is, you get to go out and fucking kill everybody. You don't get to get into groups and have weird ceremonies. It's not. I think that's a fail of the premise. And
you're saying that if I hired a security team to secure this whole area, they would just turn around and shoot me.
Find me the most hated people. Find me the most hated people.
I'm with Paul.
I want to sell them.
No, I get it.
I'm with Paul. This is just like the show Survivor, when immediately it became all about alliances and backstabbing instead of just like lone surviving. I think I understand.
But there's a group of people in masks going around house looking for a dude who in the first movie, a guy gets trapped in Ethan Hawke's house, and people come after him and they want in the house to get the guy they're after. Because people go after, like in this movie, certain people on the Purge.
Budget
like,
at $3 million.
On this night, I'm getting that guy back, the guy who stole my lawnmower or whatever. But during the gangness, the guys at the front door saying, "Let us in," and some guy says, "Yeah, you gotta let us in," whatever he's mouthing off, and then the leader shoots that guy. So why would you be in a gang if that could happen at any second?
Well, you'd hope not all allegiances break.
If I'm with that dude who just shot a guy,
well, yeah, I'd run away.
I'd say,
then.
wait a minute, that's right. This night is all about anybody shooting anybody. I think that would be a more fascinating movie, and that by making the groups and making the ceremony of it all, they fail.
But what about this? What if I offer you $1 million just tomorrow after the purge is over? I will, and you know I am good for the money. I pay you. And if you don't kill me, you get $1 million tomorrow. But you have to, go collect people off the street for me so that I get to choose who I get to kill.
That's a pretty complicated little...
Why?
I would rather see chaos.
Well, I mean,
well, I will tell you that I think that's a third act thing, that ceremony thing and the auction.
It was in the first movie too.
Okay. But this one is not cordoned in a house. This one is two people get caught downtown when the purge starts and they have to make their way somewhere is how the trailer starts. Right. So I think that seems interesting because it's opened up. They have a little more money now because they made that movie
it's
made
about 5 people who don't have calendars.
And a bunch of chaos in the streets I want to see. I want to see some Escape from New York shit. But then it's going to lead to some weird ceremony thing, and that will be disappointing. I think that's where they fail. I think. When I saw the first movie, people finally busted in the house. They got in a circle and they started chanting or whatever. Like, what happened here? Can we just have fucking people killing people? Just make it crazy. I don't know. That's what you promise, and then when you don't deliver that, I'm disappointed.
We should make a third movie. I mean, we just need a camera and.
Oh, they're going to make 8 of these fuckers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, they already turned around in a year. Yeah, every year. It'll be the Saw.
It's the new Saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the first one was made for $3 million. It's hilarious when you go anywhere to look up the plot line for this, no matter where you go, IMDb, Apple Trailers, wherever. In the box where the plot lines ordinarily are, in this one, it just lists off all the producers.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And it's like, we made $90 million on 3. They're so proud of themselves that they're just listing their own names instead of the plot.
Here's the plot.
Michael Bay's one of them.
And then it's like the Sinister and Texas Chainsaw reboot guys, and it's the Insidious and Paranormal. It's all these people.
It's like a best of. It's a super group.
Yeah, really.
Do you want
all of the people I want to kill?
What is it?
Here you go.
Yeah. Read me the synopsis from a noted website.
It's
Rotten Tomatoes.
No, it's Wikipedia.
It's 5 people who don't have calendars and didn't realize the purge was starting.
It's 2023, so it's a year after the first movie. A couple are driving to one of their sister's houses to wait out the purge, and guess what happens?
They run out of gas.
Car breaks down.
Produced by Michael Bay.
Their car runs out of gas.
They run out of gas.
As the purge commences.
They didn't know they needed to get gas.
Meanwhile, Captain America guy goes onto the streets purposely to get revenge on the man who killed his son. And then there's another mother and daughter, and the 5 people all meet up to survive. The end.
Okay, now go to Apple Trailers or IMDb and read me the plot line, because it's just it's produced by Michael Bay and this guy and this guy. It's so
and
weird.
the Blum guy.
And my theory is they're just so proud that they were able to save $1. They didn't even have to hire Ethan Hawke again. Nobody's in this movie.
Can you really make a movie with Ethan Hawke in it and only spend $3 million? What's that say about Ethan Hawke?
I think he slept on the couch, they said.
Yeah. That's what happens after you cheat on your wife.
And you know what's a really good premise for a low-budget movie? Everybody hides. Right? Yeah. Everybody's hiding. That's a great premise for a low-budget movie. The plot line is everybody's hiding.
All right, well, if all crime is legal for one night, why is everybody killing everyone? Let's not forget that all laws are suspended. What about some good old speeding? Or run out and marry a 10-year-old or something.
Can you do anything?
If that's what you really want to see, then check out a straight-to-video companion piece of Anarchy. It's Purge, the Minor Infraction. Here's a trailer. You've experienced the Purge. Now, experience another Purge.
Who took the labels off these mattresses?
I did.
How will the safety inspector assure that the contents are fire retardant?
It doesn't matter. There's no laws. Not during this purge!
Where no one is safe.
Hey, you work for the FDA. You can't stamp that green meat safe.
Oh, can't I?
No laws! Where nothing is sacred.
Hey, you didn't put money in that parking meter.
That's right. And I'll park here as long as I like. Or at least for the next 12 hours!
Where chaos reigns in the streets.
I'm taking a left between 3 cars across 4 lanes of traffic, and there's nothing you can do about it!
Because of the Purge?
No, I'm just an asshole LA driver.
It's a bit redundant. I like that.
It's a tale of betrayal where right and wrong have no meaning.
I've heard from a friend on the board of directors at AOL Time Warner that they're about to merge with the United Dairy Farmers.
Yeah, that's insider trading.
Not for another 8 hours, it's not.
And nobody is safe until the end of the Purge. Minor infraction.
You know, just because there's a purge, that doesn't mean you get to molest my livestock. Now stop screwing my goat.
Shut up, old man! I got another 6 hours in this sweet ass! Whoa!
The Purge. Minor infraction.
Is that True Clark?
There you go.
I thought we were gonna go with Law and Order. That sound effect with that bit.
That's when you're parodying Law and Order only. You can't play that anywhere else, right? There's so many Law and Order parodies; they all go right to the. Boom, boom.
I believe the other shows are parodies of its own show.
Yeah, there you go.
But I would like to speak just very briefly to the fact that apparently, if we're allowed to do anything, we just.
I'm gonna go see a movie for free.
We want to kill people. Our natural inclination is just to kill people.
I don't.
How cynical! It's the most cynical movie ever. It's like everything's fucked.
Yeah, I feel like I would just like not go to work.
Everybody's the worst. Exactly.
Yeah, I just want to stay at home all day and not be guilty at all for watching movies from morning till night or whatever TV show you're binging on at that moment.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
That people want to. You're not going to see this.
No, it's
that there's an idea that hey, if there were no laws, everybody would start killing.
Well, yes. Why is that the thing we would do?
Maybe we're just not following. Maybe we're not following the people who would be skipping work that day.
The true answer is exactly.
That's not that interesting of a movie.
As I always say when we're watching movies, maybe that version didn't test well.
Yeah. Two guys on the couch watching a movie like, should we eat another bag of Cheetos? It's the Purge day.
Yeah, that version didn't test well. They ended up with the violent one. Yeah.
All right, let's get to our final film. New in theaters, Walt Disney Pictures, the studio that brought you The Lion King, reminds you that they also brought you The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, with their release of Planes, Fire, and Rescue. Charlie, let's give it a once-over.
All right. All right, well, when you think of fire and rescue vehicles, what immediately comes to mind? Nope. Guess again. Well, keep guessing. Go to the bottom of your guesses.
Yes, it's Planes, Fire, and Rescue, the sequel to Disney's spin-off of Pixar's Cars. The first movie, given the elegant title Planes, would ultimately lead Pixar's legal team on a frantic search for who is infringing on their intellectual property in such a ham-handed way, only to find out it was their parent company.
Rumor has it the idea for this movie came about when two executives from Disney were at an air show, when all of a sudden one of them said to the other one, hey, let's rip off Cars.
Fire and Rescue continues audiences' love affair with all things wildfire fighting related.
Who doesn't remember all these great quotes from the kids' favorite Always, starring Richard Dreyfuss and Holly Hunter?
Boys, that's all right. You want to dance with my girl? You got to wipe your hands. That's it. Whoa. That's not how.
Such a great quote. Richard Dreyfuss.
Bill. That's a horrible
Shark
movie.
in the water.
I sure hope that the only quote, that's the only quote we're going to hear from Always. But the story of Planes, Fire, and Rescue continues the tale of Dusty Crophopper.
I'm Ned Niederland. I'm Dusty Bottoms. So together we're the Three Amigos.
Who's not an old prospector, but rather a plane who, having survived all the events of the first movie, now must face an entire movie full of different events.
Here's a plot.
I mean, I could look them up, but you really don't want me to do that.
Yeah. Here's a plot description from the press release. Look, kids, airplanes. You love airplanes.
Well, I'll tell you there, little missy, you're mighty pretty when you're angry.
Oh, so you doing precious?
Just that one.
Okay, thank you, Always. Enough. In the first Planes, Dusty was a crop dusting plane that learned what it meant to be a true champion. In Planes, Fire, and Rescue, Dusty learns what it means to be a true hero. Now, these are all good lessons to learn for sure, but how practical are they? I mean, shouldn't there be a lesson about how you don't always win and how you are not always going to be the best? Wait, I'm sorry, this is a movie about talking airplanes? I'm sorry, carry on.
All right, well, let's just hear a clip from this movie.
A dramatic new story with a cast of the screen's greatest names. Charlton Heston.
Damn! Blood pressure's dropping.
Karen Black.
I'm scared.
George Kennedy.
My wife and son are up there in that airplane. I'm going to Salt Lake City.
Gloria Swanson.
The hell with the jewelry. Let's put my book in here.
Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. Susan Clark, comedian Sid Caesar, Myrna Loy, Linda Blair, and award-winning singer Helen Reddy as Sister Ruth.
Would you be more
God.
of your human imperfections if you realized your best friend was yourself?
That might have been Airport 75.
Yeah. and if it was, Adam's all in to see this one again in the theaters.
Oh, my God.
American Airlines has teamed up with Disney this time to continue the franchise with American Airlines-sponsored films entitled Planes Delayed, Planes Stuck on a Tarmac, Planes Drunk Passenger, and Planes Horrible Customer Service.
Not only is Dusty Crophopper back, but so are his friends, which I will now name, along with some Transformers and some side effects of Accutane. Lil Dipper, Avalanche, Mayday, Lead Bottom, Megatron, Ultra Magnus, Smokescreen, Jazz, Chills, Night Terror, Bone Pain, Discharge, Convulsion, and Ultra Aggression.
Talking planes, what will they think of next? Oh, right, talking's cars, plants, bugs, toys, farm animals, stuffed animals, and stationery.
Other characters include Blade Ranger, I had enough of that. And a host of vaguely racist Indian names like Windlifter, Pinecone, and Casino Manager. Is it bad?
That's terrible. But the Sister Christian was great.
Yeah, it was turned around and
The director's name is Bob's Ganaway. It's actually Bob's Ganaway or Robert's Ganaway. His name is pluralized. I'm sorry, but I just don't trust anybody named Bob's.
Oh, always. It's hard to believe an innocent Disney film would fire up controversy, but this film is already being disavowed by global warming deniers who believe fire doesn't exist.
What's next for the franchise? Next year we'll see the release of Planes Southwest Airlines, and where a friendly group of planes will with faces tell jokes that make all the dumb people on the plane laugh.
There you go. That's Planes.
Bob. Never trust anyone with a plural for a name.
I don't know. Who names their kid Bob's or Roberts?
Adams.
Adams. It's a weird thing to do.
It is.
My kid will be different.
Bob's your uncle.
Nobody will make fun of him in school. His name's different.
For the record,
Thank you for Airport
though,
75, by the way.
Yeah. I'd like to go on record as saying I saw Always once, and I remember enjoying it quite a bit.
Oh, really?
Yes, I saw it in the theater, and I remember thinking that was a really good movie, but I was young and.
This is definitely his first or second most forgotten movie, right?
Yeah.
Sugarland Express and that.
And Terminal, maybe, yeah.
The Terminal, yeah.
John Goodman, Holly Hunter, Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Starring Charlton Heston. Damn.
Well, what we say doesn't matter, right? Kids are going to go see planes. They're going to buy planes toys, and we're done.
Are we really talking to the 8-year-olds who are like, should I go see this? All right, let me tune into the movie, guys, find out.
Puke joke, puke joke, puke joke. Where do they get into planes for the love of God?
Come on, guys. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to make some theater choices here.
Yeah.
Well, if you're casting Julie Bowens as the voice, then I'm assuming 8-year-olds are watching Modern Family, so of course they're listening to our show.
Dane Cook? 8-years like Dane Cook?
They love the stinger.
It's a good gig for Dane Cook, though. He had a little bit of a dip there.
A lot of bit of a dip.
Because as soon as you get... people love when you get popular, but people hate when you get really popular. Like George Lucas, everybody's like, oh, fuck that guy. And, you know, Dane Cook, as soon as he got all up there, they're like, fuck that guy. And he's like dealing with that ever since. He mentions it when he does...
he mentions it a lot.
We saw him drop
They're about to hate Kevin Hart, too. I imagine, right? Don't you think he's about to be hated?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. He's right at that precipice.
He's getting huge, so it's like, oh yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, and he's not good in a lot of the stuff. But I just saw the About Last Night, the black version.
Yeah,
yeah, it was really good. He's really well directed in that. That director, who's Steve Pink.
Wait a minute.
Steve Pink. We'll do it. Yeah,
wait.
Right, it's very good.
But that's Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Okay. So earlier in the evening, not to sidetrack, but earlier in the evening, you made a joke about that movie, and I said I don't know that movie, and you said it's the one starring Kevin James, but it's the black version.
Oh, did I say
with
Kevin
James? And I'm like, there's a black version of About Last Night starring Kevin James.
That is confusing.
I want to see that movie.
Kevin Hart is the Jim Belushi in the movie, so that's perfect for him, right?
Yeah.
That sort of character. Yeah, exactly. So Planes.
So Dane Cook.
So Dane Cook.
So Julie Bowen.
Who's hilarious? Yes, Dane Cook.
That's a good gig for him, though.
He's not bad.
He's got to pay so well.
Funny.
Yeah.
And he's going to appeal to all these kids.
Sure.
Now he's got a whole new generation he's working on right there.
That is true.
Yeah.
Well, he was like the first guy to master Facebook. I mean, I think he was like the first guy to...
Not Facebook. No, earlier than that.
MySpace.
Yeah,
MySpace.
Yeah.
Oh, look at me.
Friendster.
Too old to remember the old.
Old enough to remember Friendster.
But you know this movie is not Pixar because there's a fart joke in the trailer.
Oh. Do they frown on fart jokes?
They just don't do them. They do, usually they do other stuff. I mean, Cars 2 had some, I believe.
Brave didn't
have a fart joke in it. The Oscar winning.
Well, they have a penis boner joke in Toy Story.
The boner joke?
Yeah. The first time that Buzz Lightyear meets the girl cowboy, his
things pop up.
His things pop up.
Yeah.
I thought Woody got a boner. That would have been
that would have been more. That would have been much more
on the nose.
That would have been Disney.
In Nancy gets.
I will say there are a couple funny lines in that trailer though for planes that actually made me chuckle out loud.
Well, the pickup truck joke is
pickup truck joke and the Prius joke. I didn't hear him coming.
And the movie is the story is by John Lasseter's involved.
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
Too.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not. This is not really.
I'm sure it'll be a pretty good movie.
We kid.
We
But the truth is,
that's all we do. We want every movie to be great. We do.
Oh yeah,
of course. I think every movie is pretty great, actually.
Yes, he does.
I'd like to, when we discuss Transformers, I'd like to explain myself. On that.
Let's before we get into that though, let's talk about another couple of films out there. Hard Day's Night is having its 50th anniversary.
Oh,
that's
never saw.
Peace and love.
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Oh, so you're the guy.
Well, lots of people have.
Wait, you guys haven't seen A Hard Day's Night?
No, we haven't.
You know, I started watching it once. It was kind of hard to hear them. I have a feeling with a 5.1, like you can hear, because it's pre-recorded, kind of muddled. I felt.
Oh,
I could, and the
How
accent.
is that possible when they have the greatest producer in the history of music?
Movies were made differently back then.
That was a pretty cheap movie. They were trying to cash in on what they assumed would be limited fame. That was a quickie. To be, if they're the popular that year, the chances were they were not going to be next year.
What year
that
was
just the
60,
rules of music.
65, 66?
No, it has to be earlier than that because
64. Because it's 50th anniversary. Yeah.
Oh,
64.
wow, yeah.
The director of
that
Grease.
Makes sense.
There you go.
Math.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just realized we're talking about the Beatles movie.
Okay.
And that whole time I'm thinking, what Western is this? What Western?
A Hard Day's Night?
I don't know why.
It's hilarious.
Clint Eastwood in this?
No,
There's a Clint Eastwood in this, right? Clint Eastwood is in A Hard
The
Day's
Beatles,
Night.
Hard Day's Night.
They run.
I think
Girls
it sounds like a
chase them.
spaghetti western.
Yeah, it sounds like something Clint Eastwood would.
They
do.
run, girls chase them, and I imagine they have an adventure. Is it like a spy adventure?
No, they go on an adventure. They have to go.
And I've been
I don't remember it well. My mom made me watch when I was very young. But basically, they end up on a farm. They're trying to find a ruby that'll help them. No, there's an actual story.
It's amazing how goofy those movies are.
Oh, yeah,
and they still manage to be like this, the most well-regarded rock band in history.
But they but their movies.
They could have got lost in goofy and we never saw them.
Movies
again.
were weird back then.
Yeah, they were 60s movies.
Yeah.
They were movies that were like these kooky movies, this laugh-in movies, and they sort of pioneered. Like Help was like the prototype for like The Party and all those sort of things.
5 years later, it was only 5. I mean, Beatles' story is only about 10 years. I mean, bands have been around for 40 and haven't put out shit as good as they did in 10. But by the time they transitioned into psychedelic and all that stuff, they could have been. Why would we welcome them into this world of crazy 60s stuff
Charlie,
when they're just the goofy guys from Hard Day's
We
Night?
just went over this. I mean, they didn't get to Dane Cook had 10 years before people were like, "Fuck that guy." They actually their entire careers were over before anybody was like, "Fuck them."
Think anybody said "fuck the Beatles"?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
the government
people were trying to be argumentative.
Old people.
Old people.
So Charlie, you're the only one that has seen this movie.
Yes.
And it came out in 67?
64.
64. Even better.
Same year as Goldfinger.
Was there a guy in a gorilla uniform? Because
not yet.
I think
not yet at this point.
No,
I know what you're talking about. Though.
Thank you.
That would become a mainstay.
I think that's in Help.
Why was
actually.
that a mainstay in 60s movies?
Not only that,
guy in a monkey suit comes running through.
Yeah.
All the way up to Trading Places.
Probably in Head.
All the way up to 84.
I think it's like What's New Pussycat or What's. I think What's New Pussycat is one of those with like not Peter Sellers, but like just random crazy shit going on. And just at the end of it, there's just suddenly a go-kart chase. Just suddenly a go-kart chase. I mean, just suddenly, and it's like I don't know. We get big actors in that. Like it was like I can't remember Peter Ustinov or something.
Right,
big for that.
Yeah, in a go-kart with the gorilla or whatever.
David Niven and Nan Margaret will be having a perfectly good romance, and then suddenly they have to have a parachute adventure.
It was a gorilla in a go-kart with balloons tied.
Yeah,
right?
always balloons. Always
balloons.
a bunch of them, not all the same color.
That was a crazy time for entertainment.
Hilarious.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't only 10 10 years later that we're now celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a new 4K restored version overseen by Tobe Hooper going into theaters here and there. It's like, I don't think it's getting a wide release, but it's playing here and there.
Adam just might have messed his pants.
I am absolutely going to see that because that movie, it was so amazingly well shot. I remember when I saw it on Blu-ray the first time, that shot, there's a very iconic shot of the porch swing and the girl sitting in it, and then she walks towards the house because her boyfriend's in there, but he hasn't come out yet. And as she's walking, the camera dollies under the thing, and then the house and the sky and everything. I couldn't believe on Blu-ray.
See, that's funny because if you would have asked me before you had just said that, I would have said it's so dark, you can't see anything. But I've only seen it on VHS.
That's VHS.
I've only seen that movie on VHS. I've never seen the actual print put
someone turns the lights on. So in 4K,
much scarier. I'm sure
4K is gonna. I really want to see that in 4K. I'm excited. I just watched because Chainsaw 3D came out about a year ago or something. I had thought that was fantastic.
What else are they doing on 4K that they're releasing shortly?
Ghostbusters
for a week.
Oh, is that going to be 4K?
Yeah, in 4K for a full week.
Yeah,
can't wait to see that.
We're going to that, as you can imagine.
You can imagine.
Yeah. We should broadcast from there.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do a to and from for Ghostbusters. I mean, hey, for as big a fan of Ghostbusters as this show and Karen is. Like that deserves a to and from, right?
Totally.
Yeah, we might have even done one last time. I think it came to theaters for like a
when
one
did
day.
It come to theaters?
It came like a one dayer down at ArcLight because ArcLight
pulls it out every year, yeah. But this is going to be an official.
Good for them.
Big one.
But let's get on to our guest. Okay. Let's get some Charlie time here and talk about what we talk about with every guest who comes on the show. What is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, geez. It depends. I love this question, and I hate this question.
Most people do.
But I'll tell you why. Because at any given moment, I can give you 10 different answers. And every different genre is a different answer.
And that is also a standard response from people in your seat.
My favorite... What? See the problem...
Do you meet up sometime? Because I want to say something about favorite movies, because I realized something this week. That you're right, and everybody that comes on is right. That there's like for example, I would say you or I might say Raiders of the Lost Ark, or some weeks I'd say Star Wars. But there's such a no-brainer about that doesn't make me interesting that I like Star Wars, But as a favorite movie, like I just watched Field of Dreams this week, and I'm like. It just did while I was watching. I'm like, this is my favorite movie.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I never say that, but I'm like, you know what? There's like 10. My top 10. I'm going to archive them and start answering differently. In a way.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
anyway, what would you
recently, I'm gonna say recently. I think my most favorite movie has been Looper.
Oh,
just in the last couple of years,
really
for some
good.
reason that movie just hits it for me on all different cylinders. It's just
That's a great film.
It's a great film, and when you get down to it, though, it's 3 people on a farm. It's a futuristic movie about time travel and hunting down yourself, but it ends up being just a pretty standard story about a mother and a son and a guy trying to protect them.
Rian Johnson, he'll make a good Star Wars movie?
He's going to make a great Star Wars movie.
I think so too.
He is a meticulous writer, a meticulous director, and I don't see any. It's hard to go wrong when somebody is caring that much about everything that goes into it.
That's the thing. With Looper, if there is a typical Looper that could have been done, like he was making the...
what's the Christian Haydenson movie?
You all heard the story of Looper. I'm making something a little different.
What's that Christian Haydenson movie where he jumps around?
Jumper.
That's not that guy's name, but I don't know what it is.
Christian Haydenson?
Hayden Christensen.
It deserves to be what I just said.
He does have a superpower. He really can make something suck while he's on
really
screen.
badly.
To a powerful level. Like most people can be directed, he cannot.
He lost.
No director. Doug Liman can't make him interesting.
Well, I mean, yeah. So recently, I would say that. But I think what made me start really loving movies, my first favorite movie of all time, I think, was Trainspotting. That was the movie that I kind of went from being 14 to being like an actual adult, thinking about how movies are made, why they're made, why they're doing stuff, and I don't know why that movie caught me. But
Charlie has a lot of funny things memorized. Go ahead, give us the. He can do the whole opening monologue.
Translate anything Begbie says. I'd love to hear it. 'Cause I don't know what the hell that guy says the whole movie.
So that movie really my most recent favorite movie is Looper, and my first favorite movie I think was Trainspotting.
But the one you've watched the most, I would say, as your roommate, is Sixth Sense, right?
No.
Or not Sixth Sense, Fifth Element.
Oh, I love The Fifth Element, too.
People come in here and they love that movie, and it just does not connect with me.
I don't know. There's something about her being, adorable.
That doesn't hurt.
And Bruce Willis at the top of his I'm Gonna Save the World. And
he's a superhero.
That's when...
and Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman's
is so
great.
good.
Gary Oldman's so good. It's like such a ridiculous role that he makes believable and watchable.
The humor didn't connect with me.
No?
Nah, it was too weird.
It's like a French guy was trying to be funny.
You should watch it with me.
I don't know.
Well...
Ian Holm was super annoying in that movie. I wish he was like...
Yeah, he sputters a lot in that movie.
Yeah.
But I think he's just sputterer. He sputtered a lot as Bilbo, too.
Yeah, he sputtered as Polonius.
Sputtering school of acting.
Yeah, really. He went to the sputtering school of acting.
You want to sputter like Ian Holm and Derek Jacobi? Come to the sputtering school of acting.
Yeah, he really does sputter a lot. But so for the most part, and then anything Jason Bateman's in, and anything Ewan McGregor's in, I'm in. Those are my favorite two actors.
Yeah, what a weird you can't pin Ewan McGregor down to anything. He's in
no.
Star Wars, and you still probably don't even think of him in that. Like,
No.
Dude, you said Ewan McGregor, I immediately thought of like Moulin Rouge.
Sure.
And I thought of
another one of my favorite movies.
Excess Baggage.
No.
Strange Cargo?
Excess Baggage is with Benicio del Toro and Alicia Silverstone.
That's a title I cannot separate from the one I'm thinking of, which is also Danny Boyle, right?
The first one.
Oh, Life Less Ordinary?
Life Less Ordinary.
Life Less Ordinary. That's Cameron Diaz.
Oh, that's right. That
is Cameron Diaz. With that's a weird movie.
They needed a Latino lead.
It's called Diversity.
Yeah.
If anybody would like to join me, I'd like to watch like all of Danny Boyle's movies.
I will
some weekend.
I probably could quote him from beginning to end. To start
There's
with that.
so many I haven't seen.
Got to see The Beach?
Haven't seen The Beach?
You haven't seen The Beach?
Haven't seen The Beach?
Wow.
Haven't seen
Ewan McGregor was supposed to be in that.
Haven't seen Money? Or is that what it's called? The one with the kid?
Millions.
Millions. Haven't seen Millions. Haven't seen 28 Days Later, I don't think.
I saw that in the theater. I'm not a big fan of horror movies.
I saw it in the theater at the end of a long day. I fell asleep.
So now
I woke up at the end.
In 28 Days Later, you fell asleep.
I know. I was that
That's like the
tired.
loudest zombie movie ever.
Oh, I woke up and it got loud and then I fell right back asleep. Yeah.
Was I with you? Did you just fall asleep?
No, I saw it at the Village in Chicago. Or I didn't see it at the Village in Chicago, as the case may be.
Well, now you're directing, right?
I am.
So you're directing,
I have.
and I thought that you were just editing until you told me you were directing this whole piece. And I'll explain what's up. There's a new box set of films and extras and bonus things for Richard Lewis, and his kind of encompassing some highlights of his career, and it's coming out on September 2nd. You worked directly with him to make a documentary called what is it called? The House of a Lifetime.
House of a Lifetime.
That goes over his Hollywood Hills home. Tell us about that place.
Well, originally, it didn't start out. This started out as a favor. He has collected, over the course of his career, thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of art, anything that's collectible. I mean, from
you can't see any of the walls.
You can't see the walls. They're
everything
covered.
top to bottom is
top
covered.
to bottom is, and it's
an amazing.
And it's even better than it was. His new wife cleaned it up and like actually put like nice even spaces. Like before, it was like
Jammed
anarchy. Yeah, like everything and nothing was even. And so, what he did want to do is he wants to move eventually soon, and in order to do that, he needs to get rid of all the stuff because it's like thousands and thousands of pieces of art. So what initially I was hired for was to kind of just document what was on the walls,
like a nice looking home movie.
A nice looking home
Yeah.
movie, so he could, and he like he would explain it, so he can
An insurance
show.
video.
Yeah,
in case the place burns down. Yeah, there's 27 pictures on this wall. Here's what they look like.
So it started like that, and then as we got to know each other better, and he would, the first time I went over to his house, he was nowhere to be found. I was just like walking around Richard Lewis's house with a camera, shooting stuff. And then, every successive time, he would hang around a little bit longer, and I'd start whispering things like, oh, it'd be great to, hear a couple stories about this. A couple weeks later, he called, why don't you come and maybe I'll tell you a couple stories about this stuff. And then...
Yeah, let me play one.
Yeah, sure.
Let me give it a little taste of one of the stories he tells about some of the stuff in his house.
Come around here. This is just something that I'm proud of. This is a little shot from on the set of Robin Hood Men in Tights, and Nell signed it. A neurotic Jewish storm. I'll take it.
That's a good summation of Richard Lewis.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
So it kind of became this cohesive working environment where, like, you know, eventually he was like, why don't you come over and I'll do an entire house tour. And I was like, well, this is blowing my mind now, because now it's started to get into an hour-and-a-half long tour, and then the next time I would go over, and he'd put all new pictures up on the wall, and we'd have to go through the whole house again. And they just would trade out. Some of them we'd go over again, and then he called me one day and he said, "Great news. I have a box set that's potentially coming out. They want to do a documentary on me," but I said, "No, I already have a guy doing a documentary on me. The distributor's coming to look at it tomorrow." And he said, "Don't touch it, leave it, let it be. Just don't edit a thing. Just let him see what we got." And I was like, sure. You're Richard Lewis. Of course I'm going to listen to you. Click. I like basically shit my pants. Thought this is like
it's still like a home movie at that point. It's not ready
exactly
for no
a
music
home
or anything.
movie at that point. There's no voice or there's nothing. There's no theme to anything. And so at that moment, I basically sat down and put together as much as I possibly could in 24 hours until so I put about a 12-minute clip together of him starting in the beginning of the house and going through a little bit, and this distributor, Jonathan Gross, ended up being like the best guy to ever watch it. He watched it and he said, "Oh, no. I love it. First off, we're taking it." And I was like, "Well, this is like too good to be true." And he said, "But now, if you do more, don't be afraid to like let stuff breathe and open it up more, and show us the pictures and have like the opposite of what usually when a bigger company gets involved, they say cut it down and take all that artistic shit out." So it really was, we had every opportunity to kind of do and tell the story how we saw fit. So any of the...
Well, that's wise, because if you're buying this box set, you're already in for listening to Richard Lewis talk.
Yeah, totally.
Right? So let the man talk.
Let the man talk.
You don't have to over-edit.
And then the pictures that we figured out we weren't going to be able to hear the stories of, or, it's after a certain amount of time, it's just hard to keep listening to the same kind of thing. So we were able to put all of those pictures you don't see in like montage sound ups with music, great music, and in between everything. So
crazy overview.
What this version is a 45-minute kind of tour, a DVD extra that you get to watch. It's like just a added bonus for this box set, which is called Bundle of Nerves. That's available.
Another great name.
A bundle, yeah.
That's a great
totally.
name.
And does it got his Carnegie?
It's
show
got
in it?
Magical Mystery Tour, Magical Misery Tour.
Yeah.
It's got Diary of a Young Comic. And it's got Drunks, which are 3.
Have you seen Drunks?
I have. I've seen.
Well, I'm sure you probably watched everything.
I've seen everything.
I have not seen it. I mean, that's the one to see.
I am
right?
now a Richard Lewis completist, and almost in weird.
The Wrong Guys? Was it called The Wrong Guys?
Hey, I saw that in the theater.
By the way, I love
that.
My sister and I used to watch that movie. Like my sister used to be able to
Louis
quote
Anderson?
it from beginning to end. Why that movie?
Lewis?
I don't know.
Franklin
before we get too off onto that, I wanted to ask this is the question I was alluding to earlier.
Oh, yeah.
We've gotten to that.
Lee had a
question.
Oh, okay.
Because I know you... because I know you've directed other things, and Paul said something that, even as a film student, when I was a film student, and I've made movies, and I've always wondered what it is...
made Pocket Change Theater with me and my University Television.
What does it mean... what does it mean to direct a documentary, and what's the difference between... Because you've actually directed me. I've actually been in stuff that you've directed, and so I understand the paradigm and the dynamic of directing an actor, but for you, what is directing a documentary?
That's a great question.
You've directed a bunch of them, actually.
I have. I've ended up...
It is a good question, isn't it?
So...
I had it from the beginning.
In a sense, documentary directing ends up being shaping what gets on camera in a way where you know that the story will be able to be told in unison with each other.
It's mostly in post, right?
Well, a lot of choices come in post.
And shooting for post.
Knowing
what you're getting that you
so
can.
So a lot of my suggestions to Richard were
stop whining.
were geared in kind of the sense of what I thought ultimately would go together with the rest. So not, knowing when not to, sometimes it's knowing when not to push on something, when it'll come naturally, when, not to push anything. You know, here's a great example of something that didn't work out. After this got, picked up, thought, I got to go back and reshoot every single picture in this house. Steady, shot nicely, right direct on, so there's no glare. And so I called him up. I said, I need your house. I need like probably 16, 20 hours. I'm going to come 4 different times, 4 hours at a time, take every single picture, place it down. And I did it, shot everything again. And then I got back into the editing suite thinking I have everything perfectly now. And I started putting those in, and it looked horrible. It was not nearly as interesting as the initial angles I kind of caught with him there.
Because it had a little life to it. You were doing it while he was talking about him. Yeah.
In my first couple walkthroughs while he was talking behind me, he was just following me around talking and talking and talking, which is where I started as being like, why don't you just say this? But he was, you don't want to bother an actor if they're not prepared. You don't, if somebody's not prepared to do something and they really don't want to, pushing them isn't gonna ultimately get you what you want. So it's trying to figure out the best way to get what you want out of your circumstances, which is, it ends up being the same thing as directing actors, except you're not exactly directing the words that are written on a page. You're directing kind of this idea of what the words on a page might become.
Yeah.
If that answers that
question. That's a great
answer. Let's listen to it and talk about some more of the stuff he's got in his Hollywood.
That was kind of lofty.
I started at this club in 1971, the Improvisation, 44th and 9th, no longer there. And David Garr, who passed away, a famous rock photographer, I saw this in the New York Times. I bought it. And this is one of my idols, John Lennon, standing in front of the club where I got my start. And you can see close here Andy Kaufman, who played the congas in his act. You can see that he's waiting to go on, or he has his props back there. It's an astonishing picture.
You forget 45 years in the business, right?
Yeah.
For him. So there's probably a lot of, well, this place is no longer there.
And then on some of his walls, there's just like a cover of a Rolling Stone of a picture he liked of Jimi Hendrix. That's like framed with like a beautiful frame. And he's like, this isn't worth anything. I just liked it.
Yeah. It's framed with the rest of it, which might be...
he does have to live there.
Oh, my favorite...
surrounded with stuff you like.
My favorite is because I was such a David Letterman fan. Like, I was a little obsessive, like, David Letterman, 13-year-old. Like, I just wanted to be David Letterman so bad. And I remember that Rolling Stone cover that he has on his wall twice, I had on my wall. And I just thought that was so cool. He has two different shots.
David Letterman did a smiling and a frowning one.
Yeah, and he has both of them framed up and down.
And I think Dave signed. You can't read. I didn't have. Even though I had all the time in the world, I feel like still I didn't have a lot of time to personally inspect anything. You're always looking through a camera, so changes kind of your perspective on.
Well, he's met like everybody, right?
He knows everybody. Yeah. He has some amazing stories about hanging with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and just, I mean, I hope personally that we continue. I mean, the documentary isn't over,
and he's a music fan too, so he's friends with Ringo Starr. I mean,
I saw pictures of Robert Plant and everything.
He has like the first, "I Am a Golden God" picture of Robert Plant, where that phrase came
over
from.
Sunset. Right?
Yeah. But like I said, the documentary almost isn't over. He constantly calls or emails and says, "Oh, what if we keep doing this?" And this right now, this form that it's in is kind of a DVD extra for this box set. But if he wants to keep going, I have no problem continuing to follow him on this journey of getting rid of all of this stuff. I mean, there is...
he's going to sell a bunch of it, right? He's going to auction.
Well, he's
got to document that.
At Naris, he's going to auction at Naris, the music association. He's going to auction off some of his most expensive pieces to alcohol recovery. So all of the money profited there will go towards that. But actually catching him on camera, physically having to let go of some of these amazing collector items. Oops,
that means so much.
That means so much.
It's like walking through his life. Is the cool thing about this documentary.
Yeah, that's why it's going to be tough to give away.
Totally. So I mean, I'm prepared to continue to be on this journey, and if it continues, which is really cool. I mean, what we got right now is impressive to a degree that I didn't think somebody would be able to get. But I mean, he did it, and he almost did it in like such a with such ease. I can't. It's hard. If I tried to collect all this stuff, I feel like it'd be work. Whereas in a sense, this is almost was just like such an easy thing for him to do, is to get all of these pieces of history. And it really is. It is a museum. Yeah. It documents a lot of life and a lot of people's life and a lot of work and art, and it's very impressive.
House of a Lifetime. That'll be in the Richard Lewis Bundle of Nerves box set on. Among other places, Amazon on September 2nd.
Amazon on September 2nd.
Very cool. So you're done with it, right? It's out in the world?
This
no
version
more posts
of
between now and September 2nd?
No more posts between now and September 2nd. This is done and ready to go. Yeah, they needed it a couple months ago already.
Oh, cool. All right, well, let's get on to what we do here every week.
What did you see this week?
What did you see this week?
Well, the big one that I saw with Paul, and I know Charlie also saw, so that we could talk about it.
It's time to play anti-review, right? Because we're pretty much against everybody on this one. I had a weird weekend. I saw Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. And I saw what you're referring to, Transformers: Age of Extinction, and I liked it more than I thought I would.
I liked it
IMAX,
a lot.
3D.
Oh my God, IMAX 3D is the only way to movie.
It is the best Transformers movie, right?
Yes,
it is.
Yes,
okay, and
100%.
And I'm a little poisoned because I told you I had the 3 movies, and I had never watched 2 of them a second time. I never watched 2 and 3 a second time, and so
Or should you?
Well, but you know me, I like to ramp up to a movie. It's ramp up, summer ramp up, and so we watched 1, 2, and 3, and I was just like so depressed.
He really was depressed. I watched him with him. I really liked the first 3 movies. I mean, not like really like, but I will watch them again.
I'll go for the first one again. I think I saw that twice.
I don't mind the other the first 3.
You have no idea what's going on.
There's something depressing about them.
Are you really wanting to know exactly what's going on?
But I was happy to know what was going on in this new one. The most coherent of the bunch is this fourth one.
Yeah, I like
anyway.
The fourth one. I think one of the great strengths of it is it's a problem that's sort of the very existence of the Transformers mythology, that they exist and that they're made of a substance which has a thing. The whole plot springs from that, and that's the whole plot. Everything is tied into that. Whereas in Transformers, by the third one, I'm standing up in the living room shouting at the TV. Because
those movies were about Shia LaBeouf.
There's like fucking 25 minutes of Shia LaBeouf getting a job and his girlfriend getting a job and she didn't like his boss, and we're 45 minutes into it. I'm like, what are you doing with my what are all these people doing in my Transformers movie? Is what I shouted.
Well, that's when I saw you at the screening. I told you I got ramped up by watching a 20-minute supercut that's online. It's just robots fighting robots. They cut out from all 3 movies only the scenes where robots fight other robots.
Is it only 20 minutes?
Yeah,
that's all that they could cut together.
Yeah,
I feel like the fourth.
To give you an idea of
this
how
fourth movie is almost 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's like 2 hours and 12 minutes is just robots fighting.
Lee, do you think you might go see Transformers?
Hey, man. I told you before, the only Transformers I've seen...
Are we turning you around to going to see Transformers?
Wait, you don't want to see my movie?
Let's go, bro. Come on. It's playing everywhere.
I have a daughter in it and everything. It's really cool.
Every time I see a Transformer trailer, I want to go see it. But I've never really actually... seen a Transformer.
You never seen one of them?
But every time
Don't
I
worry
see
about
a trailer,
it. This is the only one you need to see.
Every time I see a trailer, I'm like, this looks like it might be the greatest movie I've ever
It's really
seen.
cool.
All right, let's tick off the great things about it. First of all, that Transformer that's the assassin, he's like the Boba Fett of Transformers.
Cool.
I forget what they called him, but it's like...
Face guy?
Yes.
Face gun?
Awful, terrible.
He's like the government's asset.
Terrible man. Scar kill.
No, because Optimus Prime actually knew him. He was like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Not that guy.
It's Scar kill.
So,
I'm gonna go with that.
Scar kill. So Scar kill's he's the Boba Fett of the movie, and it's
Face gun
really
boom.
fun. But then the other thing...
Face gun
boom. The other great thing about it, well, obviously having Mark Wahlberg there is great.
Yeah.
Upgrade.
Yeah, the fact that
totally.
and the fact that he finds Optimus Prime and people come looking for it, it's just all tied in. There's no loose ends. The plot generates itself and keeps itself moving, and it is just an efficient storytelling machine. Now, people somehow seem to think this story is invalid, but I say about those critics that I've heard, because this has got like a 13% tomato meter on that site that uses fruit.
I hate Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know why anybody goes and refers to it.
Reviews in fruit instead of boners.
I had a good idea.
It's a fake fruit at that.
I actually had an interesting thought the other day when I was thinking about dumb movie critics. Anytime you're angry with something, you're much more apt to go complain or write or say something about it than when you're happy.
10 people
happy
complain
people do
for every
not
compliment. Yeah.
go on the internet and write how happy they are unless you're a douchebag and you've posted everything to Facebook. But I mean, people who hate stuff, people who don't like stuff, or people who are given an opinion when they shouldn't, quickly run and write how smart their opinion was, and usually it's a bad one.
Let me give you an example, because I went to Rotten Tomatoes and I pulled some of these things.
Fuck these guys.
Yeah, well, I know what you mean.
hate
Yeah,
them so much.
And so, yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is dopey.
Name
but
a movie
the
they've
critics
said is good.
Are what make it dopey.
Well, no, they'll get 98% behind something, and it will be good, but, you know.
And I want to make this a segment sometime where we go on this even longer, but where we goof on these critics.
Reviewing
the
critics. Yeah. They need to be reviewed.
Critics of the critics.
Review the fucking
Here's
critics.
Clayton David's blurb from awardcircuit.com.
Thank you.
By the way, and
I'm
we've
gonna
mentioned
Kevin
this before.
Smith and Jay these guys go beat everybody up. You Clinton Davids?
Just go through these people. You will realize there is no more Roger Ebert. We've talked about it. There's no one to replace him.
I know.
I know. You mean somebody who actually thought of a movie
and is an accessible writer.
And I have to say, not only do I hate a lot of these reviews, but this comes from a place where I was so happy. Here we are talking about movies because we did this before we pressed record. We would just, this is us, right?
Yeah.
So, and I always thought there would be a democratization of reviewing. There has been a democratization, but it's like everybody's allowed to do
Here's
it.
Clayton's blurb.
Okay, go ahead.
How dare you, Michael Bay? How dare you?
How dare you? What are you talking about? What Michael Bay have you been watching? Fuck you.
It's a good way to put it. Like,
right?
What was he expecking Michael Bay to do?
What the hell? Yeah.
Here, Rotten Tomatoes thought you wanted to know the opinion of Kirk Baird of the Toledo Blade, who says, even by the low IQ standards of 3 previous Transformers films, Transformers Age of Extinction is grave and exceptionally stupid, with a plot as bewildering and incoherent as a caffeinated 5-year-old's explanation of the multiverse theory.
Written before he went in.
Yeah, he didn't see that movie.
Because that's
like
the Michael Bay review you give the movie, even whether you saw it or not.
Agreed.
I have that day
I
off.
have no idea what happened in Revenge of the Fallen. I have no idea what happened in Dark of the Moon. But I can tell you, this is about
Very
the
simply.
assassin hired by the government to wipe out Autobots after they destroyed Chicago.
Everything, all
and then
Transformers.
you've got like one
And then
love subplot and something else. That's it.
And Stanley Tucci invents new Transformers,
by the way,
which are the bad
Just
guys.
great. Stanley Tucci should be in everything.
There's an upgrade,
He's great.
right?
He's so good. He was so funny through the whole movie consistently.
You know what else gets an upgrade is the comic performances. Because
Yeah, T.J. Miller should get a huge
T.J.
nod.
Miller, Tom Lennon.
Oh, Tom Lennon was great
very
too.
funny in it.
Even Kelsey Grammer added some
Kelsey Grammer's
gravitas.
great. Absolutely.
Gravitas.
And even Stanley Tucci's funny.
And John Goodman voicing
Yeah,
one,
John
of the,
Goodman.
Hound.
one of the Transformers is better than the step and fetch it thing. They
Oh,
got in trouble
absolutely.
for.
The horrible voices.
Still in there a little bit. The little,
Now, in one of these reviews I read, okay, and because I thought the Autobots were really well formed. There was the guy that was the guy that's ready to get in there and kick ass, and then there's the heavy hitter like John Goodman, and then there's the samurai guy who turns into a nice
I still
sleek
don't
car.
get why they have nationalities, but keep going.
Yeah,
I didn't get that in the first movie
but
when they were like talked kind of like blaxploitation and like it was so weird. I don't.
But in another review, clearly written before the movie, of course, he said, "Oh, and it wouldn't be a Transformers movie without some racist representation, like Ken Watanabe as the samurai car." Well, you're allowed to be a samurai.
Yeah,
especially if you're Asian.
How many cars are Japanese?
Yeah,
like most of them.
Well, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
To those who say rape culture is a myth, we
Jesus
say behold
Christ.
Transformers 4, says Tara Brady of the Irish
She
Times.
didn't watch this movie either.
Who gets raped in the movie?
I don't.
In the summer movie, I don't remember rape.
The viewer? I don't know what she's trying to say.
Rape or
rape twice.
I like rape.
I think she's talking about the Purge.
And even then, Jersey Boys, I just want to say also, here's the guy that says, Eastwood, this guy liked it. Mark Hoban, super reviewer. Eastwood's Jersey Boys falls closer to traditional music industry biopics like Ray and Walk the Line, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
You know what?
But it curiously avoids all the drugs that Ray and Johnny Cash did and makes it a more effective movie. But so what movie is he watching?
I just thought of a great website would just be you get 2 reviews, one negative and one positive, and like you just read them both and you ascertain what you might like out of it. But it's like the reviews are never even the never mind.
Here's where Transformers succeeds, and this is my grand theory that I've come up with by reading reviews like this. You are watching the movie wrong. There's a right way to watch a movie, right? These guys are watching the movie wrong. There's a way to watch the movie where, it never claims to be something that it doesn't fulfill. It's you buy into the game of it.
I understand. I'm almost thinking that critics are writing them this way to get put on Rotten Tomatoes. They're not looking to
they're
represent
looking for any press. He's the super critic.
No, they're looking to be because this guy from Toledo. How else do you get on Rotten Tomatoes unless you say why Michael Bay or I got raped by this movie? Like, this is like Sarah Silverman comedy. Like, in the sense of the only way. Guess what? I'm famous now. I got my critics review stuff is used on this
guy just wanted
website.
to drop the multiverse theory on us.
Yeah.
Which, if you didn't know, is the hypothetical set of
He
infinite
sounds
or
like a
finite
guy who's never gotten
possibilities.
laid before.
Yeah, which Michael Bay movie was everybody going to look
Which
at?
one did he make? Was it American Beauty? I can't remember. What is he comparing it to?
You know, these are critics. These are the sort of critics that would criticize
Was it
a
Bad
sculpture.
Boys 2? That
would criticize a sculpture for not being a painting. Yeah, like, how do you like this sculpture? It's not a painting. Well, all right, but as a sculpture goes, is it a sculpture? Because it's a Michael Bay movie. Does it succeed at being a? And by the way, Michael Bay. Nobody makes Michael Bay movies anymore. He's the only one left. Now, when he came out, that was everything. Bruckheimer. There was Con Air. All this shit.
Tony Scott,
and they all sort of looked trashy. And he wasn't very good at making them. I didn't think at the time. I don't like Armageddon. I don't think that's a very good movie, and I don't even appreciate it on a Michael Bay level. Not that much. That movie's bullshit.
Which one?
I cry every time at the end.
Listed a bunch. I forgot which one.
Armageddon.
Oh, Armageddon.
Come on, when
Whereas Bad Boys 2 is
Bruce
great.
Willis sends Ben Affleck up, you're not shedding a tear when he's like, "No, you're letting him go take care of my daughter."
Paul and I did play the Michael Bay.
You know what I'm talking about. I shed a tear every time. Maybe you were just that's like your Adam Sandler age when that came out. What year was that? 99.
Look, I was of an age to appreciate Armageddon. I just didn't.
We were going to say we did play the American flag drinking game.
We did. The Michael Bay game is you drink, and I'm going to do this when this comes out. This is the perfect one for it. First of all, you salute and drink every time you see a flag. You're going to get drunk already on that.
They're everywhere.
Are they really?
You're going to drink
In
every time.
Transformers
Every time the sun sets, drink.
Oh, great.
Every time someone is seen from a low angle, drink.
I'm drunk already.
Every time you see slow motion, drink.
I can
Boom.
think of, like,
that's it. That's the Michael Bay game.
You're going to be dead after Transformers 4.
Oh, I can't wait to play that. I think it's going to be good.
Oh, and then just a quick shout out to Steve Biodorowski from Cinefantastique, who said of Maleficent, the goofiest film version of classic literature since A Scarlet Letter was freely adapted from Nathaniel Hawthorne in 1995. He also liked Prince of Persia and Doom. So there you go.
What? What? That's what his review on Maleficent was?
Yeah. Which is a better.
That was
than
just a
you'd think
fancy
film,
way
too.
to say that he's either a 14-year-old or a 29-year-old who's never been with a woman.
Can I just say one more thing that really appealed to me?
Oh, Transformers 4?
About Transformers?
Who's that actor in the trench coat?
Oh, yeah.
They have got one of these Luc Besson bad guys.
He's great, though.
Or Robert Mark Kamen bad
what
guys.
Else is he in?
Look up his name. He's got a very... Jamie,
he's in something.
He's got a very British name like
something.
Trevor or something.
He was just... Trevor's a British
Steve
name?
Trevor or Trevorrow. Colin Trevorrow,
No,
right?
that's not
director.
it. But it might as well be.
That's the director.
That's the director of Jurassic World.
Jurassic World.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Look at me. I just have shit floating around.
Yeah.
You just
made
he
up...
is answering a question from a half hour ago.
This man...
Raymond, am I using you?
So by wiping the cast clean and rebooting it, great move.
I love it.
And it's Action City. You want an action movie in the summer. I mean, it's out of hand.
You know what the other thing is they did any thick backstory they went into, they only took 3 minutes in between big action stuff, which I really kind of liked. Because Adam pointed out when we were watching Transformers 3, there really is like 40-minute chunks of
him and his job. Don't you give a shit about that?
Well, and then when he's
I hope he gets the raise.
Then there's also a glaring inconsistency because he's at college, and apparently Transformers can turn themselves into people,
into
and that's
women.
Dropped.
Oh,
and never touched again.
Fuck that too.
Yeah.
That is the
They
worst
can only turn into
Transformers
hot girls, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, I had a problem with them turning into a flat screen TV. That's a little much.
What if they're turning into people? That changes the entire world.
The thing. Whole different movie.
Yeah, whole different. They got to be
Whole
like
different movie. It could be anybody.
Nothing but
it
that.
Could be anybody.
Brett Ratner directed that sequence.
Is it Titus Welliver?
It is Titus Welliver.
Oh, wow.
That's
he's not British.
That's the Man in Black.
Is he
in
Games
Lost.
of Thrones?
What is he in?
Lost.
He's
The
in
Man
Lost?
Black. Yeah.
What else is he in?
I would have kept watching if I knew he would show up.
Yeah, he is such he's such a like Kiss of the Dragon type Luc Besson sort of knockoff
yeah.
transporter bad guy. Remember the transporter bad guy? Like all those bad guys are the best. Rules. I like that.
Wait, let's go over a couple other things we might have.
I like that.
Let's go over a couple other things we might have seen because time's going to tick
okay.
away. We only got a few more minutes.
I saw a Dom. Oh, here, Lee. You
Yeah,
should go.
Liam.
No,
you didn't see Transformers, so
I did not see Transformers.
I saw Dom
What did you see this
Hemingway.
week? Oh yeah,
Dom Hemingway, the Jude Law movie.
That's Jude Law being a
Jude
total
Law,
scumbag, right?
Total, yeah. He's like playing his mid-50s. They messed his nose up. He's got thinning hair. He's a big fighter. It is a very well-made, very British play. I mean, the opening soliloquy is probably it's one shot. It's a slow push-in. It's just him, and he's talking about his cock. How beautiful, and it's probably 6 minutes long. 6 minutes, one shot, one take, and you just know it's that. I mean, it's that. It's a very. I mean, I wish movies were made like that. It reminded me of Trainspotting in the sense of you had these, just great long, wonderfully written. I mean, he's just like a poet. Everything he says 7 different ways.
Well, it's Richard Shepard who made the Matador, which we're big champions of here.
The Matador is great. Yeah. So I mean, like I was watching, I was flicking around and I was like, I'll buy this movie because I want to watch it really badly. And I really, it's a very indie movie. You're not watching. There's no giant things that go on. There's no payoffs to anything. It's just this character's kind of little journey right after he gets released from prison after being there for 12 years. And it's probably like 4 weeks of his life. That's it. At the most, even. Maybe it's just the first week that he's kind of getting out of there. But I thought it was Jude Law. I mean, he did a great job. And it's, I wouldn't say, he didn't make me cry. But
have you seen The Hunting Party? There's another
No.
Richard Shepard movie you should look up with Richard Gere and Terrence Howard. Great film. Jesse Eisenberg, one of his first roles.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Oh, it's really good.
I haven't caught up with Richard Shepard.
And if I'm wrong that it's not Richard Shepard, then I'll punch myself.
The
But I'm
Hunting
pretty
Party?
Sure. The Hunting Party, yeah.
All right, I don't know why I wrote down Richard Gere. You were talking.
He's in it. No, he's in The Hunting Party.
No. I'm just saying.
But that won't help you get the movie.
I don't
if
want
you
to
see
write Richard
Gere.
Gere's name down on a piece of paper. That's unnecessary information.
I watched, speaking of Richard Gere, I saw An Officer and a Gentleman last night.
Oh, is that your first time?
I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
I have nowhere to go.
I know. It's one of the ones my parents dragged me to the theater for. It's not a good movie for an 11-year-old. But
No.
as an adult, I see it. I see the appeal.
Yeah. It's very romantic.
And Louis Gossett's out of control. Awesome in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oscar. You got the Oscar.
And I saw Goldfinger at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
Fun.
Beautiful projection.
Fun.
4K projection of that, I do believe.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I was excited to hear that because I've yet to go there, and I want, when I go, for it to be quality production.
You've never been to... I went to Jurassic Park. That was great.
Yeah, and by the way, for anybody who's listening and doesn't understand what we're talking about, in Hollywood, in the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, there's a gigantic lawn with a mausoleum-looking thing that they have built a screen on, and they project movies there, and everyone lays in the grass and makes their picnics and brings bottles of wine. I mean, it's just one of the best L.A. cultural thing you can do, and it's all surrounding a movie. Great DJ music, and I took my
That part I doubt, but
what?
The great DJ music?
Yes,
It is great music. It really is. No, they hire like really big DJs.
Hold on.
Well, big DJs for LA.
He played no. Just because DJ doesn't mean it plays the music you don't like.
Oh yeah, it's not Tiesto.
Yeah, it's not Tiesto. It's he played all.
I already hate that. I don't even know who that is.
He played all like Quentin Tarantino soundtrack, cool like Italian crime thriller music and shit, like all remixed. It was awesome.
Would you feel more comfortable if he said like VJ, but no videos? Just a.
I would want him to put you in the mood, like it sounds like
he was a disc jockey.
Yes.
So Goldfinger, boy, that's a hip movie. And speaking of Beatles, '64, same year the Beatles. I mean, can you imagine being a baby boomer and Batman's on TV and the Beatles, and I mean that's a cool.
One of the coolest thing about Goldfingers is
Pussy Galore's Flying Rangers.
Well, that too, but I think Bond is setting a meeting. And
that's the best.
And they say black tie.
Black tie.
It's a black tie meeting.
Come black tie.
They go to that meeting and.
There's 3 people. It's the 3 of them. Victoria pointed that out.
That's how fancy they are. That's how fancy Bond is.
She goes, that is so fancy. They called a black tie meeting for 3 people. A black tie event.
I only go to weddings that are black tie. I've never been invited to anywhere else that's black tie.
Oh my God. The scene, I forgot. I haven't seen this movie all the way through in a long time. I forgot how insanely long and intricate it is when Goldfinger, they go to his like game parlor and he's got the pool table and everything and all the trophy heads on the wall and couches and shit. And he's like, and they're like, why are we all here? And he's like, presses a button, and this table takes forever to go whee and turn like a flip over the pool table into a model.
They didn't know how to cut back then.
And then all it is all it is a shot of Fort Knox. It's a picture of Fort Knox. We all know what Fort Knox looks like. I mean, you don't have to even do it. And the whole thing. And then they're like, yeah, well, we don't believe this. And he goes, it will be easy. And then he presses another button and something else goes, to just bring another map or a model of Fort Knox. And you're like, it's still Fort Knox, which we can look up in any book. It's the most famous place with gold in it imaginable. It was really fun.
With CGI, it would just be like, whoa.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
the three-dimensional.
And of course, I defy any movie to go back to anything other than the clear pad in the air that you run your fingers around.
Yeah.
That is, if the future is
we're
not
there
that,
now, we're staying there.
Yeah.
That's what we're on. All right, well, that's all the time we got. We got to wrap this thing up. That wraps another movie showcast,
Sorry,
everybody.
what was on TBS? Real quick. TNT.
Men at Work.
Born Ultimatum.
Great fucking movie.
That is a great movie.
That is a good one.
Follow us on Twitter at The Movie Guys, on Facebook at facebook.com/The Movie Guys, as well as on YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Vine, Instagram, whatever, all that. Thanks to Charley Rivkin.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Richard Lewis,
that was a lot of fun.
of Nerves is available for purchase at, among other places, Amazon on September 2nd.
Woo!
And will include House of a Lifetime.
And real quickly, it's a limited time box set cover. They're not making that many of this. That Ronnie Wood, the guy in the Rolling Stones, painted the specific.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, he painted this for this box cover.
Yeah.
It's a limited edition,
Cool.
so. If you want to get it early before it just turns into some crappy box set, normal thing.
God, how long did I go? Did I see Richard Lewis in
covered
concert?
Planes.
1990 or
You
something
see-
like that.
oh, wow.
Yeah, he came to my hometown.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Yeah, he played out of college there, so he must have been doing a college tour or something.
Yeah,
he was great. Thanks to Jamie Clark Elvington for running the board and telling us what's up. And Steve Scholes for his writing contributions to the show
that guy.
every week. And remember, you can always find everything we're up to at themovieguys.net. We'll be back next week with previews of Hercules, Lucy, and So It Goes, and special guest David Minkin in studio. We will see you there.
All right. Hercules.
I also saw Blackabout last night, but we'll talk about it later.
Is this?
It's good.
You're supposed to whisper when we hear the lights are going down. Right?
Oh, sorry. The Field of Dreams. I'll talk about it next week.